All right, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back on the 65. We're going to be doing a will it run. Finally, it's something I'm excited to do. I'm curious to see if it'll run. I have a pretty good suspicion that it'll run, only because the engine looks complete. Doesn't look like there's any major parts missing, and normally inline sixes are pretty bulletproof. How good it'll run, that's another question. Usually the biggest problem with these are carburetors acting up on them, or ignition systems. Basically, as long as it's not seized, we should be able to get it to fire, and hopefully there's just nothing major, like no knocking or anything like that. As long as there's no knocking or no loud noises, it should be a good engine, and we could address pretty much anything like carburetor, ignition, or anything that it throws at us. So without any hesitation, before we get started, please like and subscribe down below. But without any hesitation, let's get started on this and dig into it and see if we could get it fired up. If you haven't watched last episode, I gave you guys a sneak peek of what's underneath here. I have my DJI Mini up here mounted, so I'll have an up-close view of what's going on in here as I'm working on it, and I have you guys up here on the tripod as I work. So let's dig into it and get going. All right, so first thing I want to check and see if the motor's free. So I'm just going to probably grab the fan belt and alternator belt together, and it's one belt. So basically try and pull it along with the crank and see if I could try and get that to spin. So I'm definitely able to get it to spin a little bit. It goes a little bit, and it's kind of, the belt's slipping at this point, but it's definitely not seized. Next thing I want to do is check the oil. So oil's something you don't want to kind of see. It's kind of at the bottom here. So it has oil in it, but it's pretty low. So before we crank it, I am going to add some oil. I'll check it again, but at least there's something in there. But again, it's registering, but just barely at the tip. So let's just add oil, and then we'll get to trying to crank this thing. So since we're going to be playing around with it, I'm going to add a kind of an engine restore in case it does pop off. This way this will start going through it. and then some 10W30. All right, before I add the 10W30, I'm gonna check the oil. So it's still about the same. Either way, it'll take the oil a little while to travel down to the oil pan, but I'll add some 1030. I'm just going through some half-empty containers I have in the garage. There you go, it's now at the add mark. So now we have it at the add mark. So I'm gonna leave that like that and just for cranking it. I'm not gonna add any more oil. For one, oil is probably still traveling down to the pan. And number two, really don't know what this thing's gonna do. So before I invest any more oil in it, we'll see what it can do. So let's look at cables and stuff. So luckily we still have battery cables. Reinforced battery tray. Custom battery hold down. So it looks like all our spark plug cables are there. There is one wire disconnected from the coil, but the coil does have two wires going to it, so I don't know what that second wire disconnected from it goes to or is for. So we'll try starting it as is. All right, so I'll sit my battery in. I am going to take off these battery posts. Since this is a stud post battery, I'm gonna put these connectors on it real quick. If everything runs good, I'm gonna replace these battery cables. All right, battery's connected. This truck actually has a key in it, so I'm gonna turn the ignition on and see if we get power to our coil. All right, at the same time, I'm gonna hook up our bump stop, hook it up here, and then down here to the starter solenoid. So we're connected. Actually, since that's connected, I'll probably just bump it over, see if I could get this engine to make a complete turn. So that's good. Let me check the engine, the oil actually, since we did a complete revolution. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil. While that's emptying in, I'm gonna turn on the ignition. So I have the ignition switch on. I'm gonna check the coil, see if we have power. And we don't. So we'll be giving this our own power then. All right, I created a short jumper wire to basically go from the positive lead to our coil. Alright, ignition has coil. Coil has power. Let's see if we could get spark out of any of these. Alright, good spark. Put this on the camera for you. That's actually really good spark. Alright. So let's pull off the air cleaner, shoot some starting fluid underneath in that, and I want to pull the fuel line too, just so it doesn't start pulling fuel from the back, because I don't know what that tank looks like. I don't know. I was gonna say I doubt it's that bad, but Lord knows. So all right, so I set up a makeshift gas tank, pulled the other fuel line off. Let's reconnect the ignition. Use some starting fluid until we siphon gas up to the carburetor. Let's try it out. Linkage is tight. There you go. That's probably one of the easiest will it runs or starts I've had in a long time. I would say that's a good engine. So definitely would say it's got an exhaust leak. Sounds like it's right here, right out of the exhaust manifold. I did a quick carb rebuild out of a can. Other than that, no joke, that's probably one of the easiest will it runs or getting a car back on the road. It's not back on the road, I need to go through the brakes. Let's actually pop the brake reservoir, see what that looks like. What do you know, there's actually fluid in there. You guys want to put this thing in gear? Let's try and move it. Come on. Let's top this thing off. Let's try and move this thing. So, while I fill this up, let's talk. Definitely has an exhaust leak. It sounds like it's right here out of the exhaust manifold. Carburetor sounds really good. I can't really tell timing because of the exhaust leak. But doesn't seem that far off. Throttle linkage is very sticky. I need to oil the crap out of that. And it definitely needs fluids topped off. I'll probably go through and do a oil filter change. See if we have a pedal. Well, you know, we actually have a pedal. Well, let's try this, see if we could get it to move. Looks like it's moving. Throttle's still very sticky. Brakes work. I'd call that a 100% win. Yeah, got reverse forward. Looks like a 3-speed, first, second, third, and then reverse. Brakes actually work really good. They don't feel bad at all. So yeah, definitely runs. I gotta go through, check the cooling system, top that off, top off the oil. Actually, I'll do an oil filter change. So next episode, I should have all that, all the fluids and everything done, get it dialed in, probably put exhaust on it, and then we'll get back on cleaning it up, making it look 100%. This will probably be a flip, so either we're going to trade up to something nice or sell it and get something else. So stay tuned and see what we're going to end up doing with this for two reasons. For one, the final detail and what it's going to look like, and number two, what are we going to actually do with it? What are we going to sell it for, or what are we going to trade it for? Again, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe down below, and thanks again for tuning in. See you in the next episode.